Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this True Reviews today. Today I'm going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. This is the fifth installment in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise that started a really long time ago, and I was so excited for this movie. I really love the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, especially the first two movies. The first one I think is incredible. I have a lot of really fond memories of watching the first one growing up with my best friends, and we watched that almost every single weekend. In fact, there was a moment where we went on a camping trip and my best friend and I were able to basically quote the entire movie from beginning to end. I really love the Pirates movies, and I was really excited for this. And right off the bat, you guys, I was so disappointed in this movie. There's so many things that were done in such a way that confused the heck out of me. And my wife kept saying, as we talked about it on the way home, and as we've kind of talked about it today as well, she keeps saying that it didn't even feel like a Pirates movie, and that's so true. It was very boring. That's the last thing I want in a Pirates movie, is to be bored. So just a little bit of background, Pirates of the Caribbean 5 focuses on Jack Sparrow trying to find the Trident of Poseidon, because whoever has the trident can break the many curses of the sea. And we have a ghost ship full of some characters that Jack had bested early on in his life, and they're coming after Jack. And that's basically what you need to know. And that's basically all the plot is. There's not much to the story here in this movie, which is really unfortunate. This movie was directed by some team of Norwegian directors who haven't really done much. I don't know how to pronounce their names, and since it's a foreign name, I'm not even going to try because I feel like I'll mess that up. The music was also done by someone other than Hans Zimmer, which was not my favorite. The music I felt was really lacking, and I'm not sure why Hans Zimmer wasn't able to do it, if he had other things going on or whatever, but the music was not my favorite, which is really sad because the music is really good in this series. However, some of the good things, though, there was some really good CGI. In fact, you see the scene in the trailer where you see a young version of Jack Sparrow, and you actually find out why he's called Jack Sparrow, which I thought was kind of cool. As a little bit of an insight into kind of how Jack got his start. And the CGI that's done to de-age Johnny Depp is incredible. That technology gets better with every movie. Disney uses it a lot right now in their movies, and it looked really good on Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and it looked really good on Johnny Depp in this movie. That was actually probably my favorite scene of the whole movie. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it looked really good. Another positive to this movie was actually the newcomers. We have one character who plays the son of Orlando Bloom's character, Will Turner, and he's kind of a young up and coming actor, and he actually did really well, and it was incredible. He looked exactly like Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom. If they had actually had a kid, I feel like this is what he would look like. So that was kind of cool. And so this other newcomer was this girl character who was played by Kaya Scodelario, perhaps? Not sure how to pronounce her name. But she did actually really well also. I was pleasantly surprised by those two newcomers. However, one of my biggest problems with this movie was unfortunately one of my favorite things about the franchise, and that was Jack Sparrow himself. Johnny Depp's portrayal of Jack was so bad. I was so disappointed in this, especially when I think back and I look and see that Johnny Depp was actually nominated for an Oscar for the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and he's incredible in that movie. That performance still holds up, and he was just so obnoxious in this movie. He was way too over the top. He was way too acting drunk and stuff like that. And one of the things that really frustrated me is because in the first movie especially, you get the idea that Jack Sparrow is actually really smart. Like, he may act dumb and he's kind of a funny character, but that guy is a genius. They often use the phrase that Jack is the best pirate that he's ever heard of or whatever. And he's so smart in that movie. He's constantly double-crossing people. He's super tricky and a really interesting character. And in this, he was just like, everything that went well for him was luck, and it was not fun to watch at all. I was really disappointed in Jack Sparrow. I also felt like the movie as a whole was very cartoonish. There wasn't much substance to it, and the action sequences were horrible. I can't think of a single action sequence that stood out to me. Not unlike the windmill sword fight in Dead Man's Chest, the second one, or like the sword battle in the end of the first one where him and Barbossa are fighting and they're going through the moonlight and you see their skeleton versions and then they're in the dark and it's their regular versions. Like that was so creative and such a cool battle, and they fight so well. The choreography is really great, and there's none of that in this movie. Absolutely none of it. What little action there is super boring and looked very fake. It was not fun to watch at all. Again, the story was very bare bones. Jack is very much the protagonist of this franchise, and he felt like he just was kind of being dragged along. And we saw it with a couple of friends last night, and one of my friends thought it might have been a good idea to just have Jack as kind of a supporting character rather than telling the story from his perspective, which I thought would have been a really interesting movie to introduce these newcomers who I thought did really well. I was way more interested in their characters and in their story than anything that Jack Sparrow did. And I think that would have been really cool to focus on them and kind of had Jack come in as a side character. So unfortunately, I was super disappointed in this movie. I really, really wanted to like it and was really hoping it would be good, but it just wasn't. There was definitely more bad than good. And so for that reason, I'm going to have to give Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, a 6 out of 10. If you are wanting to see a movie this weekend, I would highly recommend you see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or King Arthur, both exponentially better than this latest Pirates movie. Next week, we've got Wonder Woman coming out. I'm not going to be able to see that opening night like I did for Pirates, so you'll have to wait a couple of days for that review. And then we've got a whole bunch of other summer movies coming out. But Wonder Woman will be the next one, so be sure to keep your eye out for that. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at True Reviews 32. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.